This is my 2001 IS300. I've been getting some requests to do a build breakdown. I was in the market for a manual IS300 and I found this on Facebook Marketplace. The price range for a manual IS300 is usually around $9,000, $10,000. And that's within my area. So it may be different within yours. But I found this car, which was a complete manual swap. They appear to have done a very good job because whenever I look at the dash, there's no warning lights on the dash. At the time, I didn't really know what kind of engine build that I wanted to do. I just knew at the moment I wanted to shift some gears. So this is not my first IS300. My original IS300 is an automatic. I'll call it temporary insanity. I decided to sell my original IS300 because I was buying a truck and I thought, oh, well, you know, the IS is sitting in the garage and I haven't driven it forever. Some of the seals are starting to leak. Instead of fixing them, I'll just trade it in as a partial trade on a truck. And I've regretted trading that car in ever since. So I wanted to get another IS300. The build was basically a bonus. And I think this build was done about 2 to 3 years ago. When I found this thing on Facebook Marketplace, I had it in my head that basically I was going to buy this car irregardless because of the manual swap. Basically, we were at 6K. I negotiated that down a little bit more, mainly because his battery, he was under the impression I needed a new battery, so I was under the same impression, which it still might, but I haven't had to replace it yet. What I did do is I installed a NOCO trickle charger, and since I think it may just be that he didn't drive it very much, but if you know how much red tops cost, I'm trying to get as much out of this one as I can. And I just keep it plugged up because it's been about a week since I've run this vehicle. I'm going to do a cold start on it here for you in a minute. So how it's going to sound, I do not know. Now, as far as the build itself goes, I've taken a look at the car to kind of figure out things about the build, because if it ever breaks, I'm going to have to fix it. So with these independent throttle bodies, as far as the brand and whatnot, I'll have to put the description in this video, and I'll give you a closer look at what these look like. I believe these were something somebody fabricated after the fact just to keep trash from getting within the horns. And then as far as the vacuum goes, that's where things get really interesting. So the vacuum lines on this vehicle, when I started looking into this, the things I found were this, which I'm slightly concerned about. I'm going to have to figure this out. But this car needs everything, so we're going to figure these things out over time. And the reason that I wanted to start doing a YouTube channel on this is because I plan on taking this car and restoring it into something awesome. That's the plan. Now, as far as the engine build, it just happened to have a cool engine build whenever I got it. I wanted to document everything that I do to this car because this car literally needs everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. I'm talking about the windshield's cracked. There's all these just little things, you know. The hood has a ton of rust. It did have the stick for the hood, but it wasn't attached. The clips were missing. So I literally ordered these clips and just put those on. I'm going to end up doing a lot of how-to videos because there's a lot of basic things on this car. It was missing front speakers. There's just a ton of things. I'm not even going to go into all the things that it needs. Okay, so let's talk about the vacuum for a second. Let me get a light, actually. Okay, now we get some light. Hopefully y'all can see this a little bit better. So this right here, when I found this, and I noticed it had a Ford emblem on it, I was like, okay, what is this thing? Which naturally, it's got a vacuum line on it. So I started doing some digging, and I believe this thing is called an IATC. I'll try to put it on the screen. But essentially, this controls the idle. So this right here connects to, let me see if I can get this thing out. Okay, I can't get this all the way out, but basically, I'll just try to get as good a shot as I can on it. This right here, this feeds to this piece right here. And then from this piece, it's a vacuum block. There are six hoses connected to it. Each hose goes to a throttle body. And then you have this one, this little hose, which is tapped into one of the 6. So there's that. So this thing was just sitting right here, which I'm going to continue to leave it sitting there until I get around to messing with it. This thing was tucked right here, which I'm going to continue to leave there until I get around to messing with that. So I'm going to try to get an undershot of this, which I do not know if this is going to work or not, but we're going to try it. In order to do this, I'm going to have to remove the microphone. I do not know how this is going to go, but here is a shot underneath the ITBs. Right now, we're underneath the ITBs just looking around, and I haven't seen anything down there. I could probably pull one of these horns and get a better look at it. Do another shot from back here. So this is towards the back of the engine. Looking around. Hopefully there's enough light. This is the light. So let's talk about ECU. So the ECU, now remember this thing's been fully manual swapped. So as far as what has been done with the stock ECU, that I'm gonna have to basically pull up a pinout to figure out what's what. And maybe this is why there's no warning lights on the dash. What I do know is that this right here is a Link Monsoon ECU, and then on top of that there is an igniter in behind the glove box. Eventually I'm gonna have to break all this down and get this all wired up cleanly, but I also am considering relocating this. If that's something that you want to see, drop me a comment below, let me know. So the stock coil packs are still installed on this build. So that's all the things that we really know about the independent throttle body setup. As far as the other things that's going to happen with this vehicle, when I got it, I replaced the wheels, because originally it had these stock 300Z wheels on it, which were smaller, and it made it lower to the ground, but I hated the way they looked. They looked terrible. I'm going to get some wheels for this. In the meantime, I found somebody that had some Infinity factory wheels that were 18s. They fit it relatively well. The reason I bought this project is because I started watching a lot of the big guys working on cars and whatnot. I love watching like Dustin Williams. If you don't know who Dustin Williams is, look him up. He does amazing things with cars, and his whole Japan series is just out of this world. I also watched TJ Hunt and Drift Games. When I started watching these videos, at the end of the video I would always feel like working on a car, and I didn't have a car. I didn't have a project car that I could work on. So I started looking, and this was the vehicle I found. And my true passion has always been for the IS300. Naturally, my dream would be to end up eventually owning one of the Skyline GTRs. I don't care which one it is. I just want literally any of them. But that is like such a dream. I'll probably never be able to actually own one. This right here will do. This channel is going to have a lot of build content on IS300s. I'm throwing some cooking videos in there too. So if cooking and cars is your thing, hit the subscribe button, and I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'm going to do a cold start on it, and this car is very cold nature. So this is not going to be pretty. It's been at least a week since I've started this car. But I'm just gonna give you like I'm gonna give you the straight up sound, like what this thing sounds like whenever I start it up after it not being started for a week. So this is going to be ridiculous, but A, I want to document this car before I start doing too much to it, and B, I've always wanted to do this. So that's the build. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe. There's a lot of upgrades coming. I have one that's coming right now. It's in the middle of the ocean. It's the wide body kit. Then we're gonna do the regular body kit. And then we're gonna do the wrap. I'm thinking like a metallic red, which would look really good. And then wheels. I have some wheels in mind. The wheels are probably the most expensive part. I kind of want to get those before doing all the other parts, like maybe after I wide body it, I may just get the wheels. As far as engine upgrades, I'm open to suggestions. If anybody wants to see anything specific, let me know, because I'll definitely mod this thing out some more if people want to see it. So thanks again for watching.